What is this white stuff? What is that stuff, guys? That's not what I want to see. Guys, I'm thinking of leaving Canada for good. I'm thinking of just getting out of here for good. Do you know what that means? For good? If you leave a place for good, or if you stop doing something for good, what does that mean? It means permanently, forever. Okay, so if I say I'm thinking of leaving Canada for good, that means I'm thinking of leaving Canada permanently, forever, right? So you could tell your wife, I'm gonna stop smoking for good. That's it, wife. This is my last smoke. I'm gonna stop smoking for good. For good. That means permanently. It's kind of a weird, it's a weird way to say permanently, right? For good. You know, that's just what it means though, right? So you could say, I'm gonna stop eating sugar for good. That's it, guys. I'm breaking up with sugar. Sugar and I are getting divorced. I am never gonna eat sugar again for good, right? Now we usually use this for in the negative sense, like when you're gonna stop something or when you're gonna leave something bad. Okay, we don't really use it for a positive thing. I mean, for like a yeah, for something like good, like let's say you start exercising. You wouldn't really say, I'm gonna start exercising for good. From now on, I'm gonna start exercising for good. I mean, you could say that. You could say that, but it's more common to say that, you know, to use this when you're leaving something, not when you're starting something, when you're starting something new, you know. Like you wouldn't say, I'm gonna start smoking for good. You know, that's it. Now I'm gonna start smoking every day for the rest of my life. I'm gonna start smoking for good. No, we don't really say that. So it's usually leaving a bad habit. Like, you know, I'm going to stop, I'm going to leave that person for good. Okay, I'm going to end this relationship for good. That means you're going to stop the relationship. You're going to stop seeing that person forever, right? So if for example, if you hate my videos and you are going to stop watching my videos, you could tell me, Mark, I am going to stop watching your videos for good, right? If that's true, let me know down in the comments. Hopefully that's not true. So that's what it means, permanently. So give me some examples in your life. Guys, that sun is so bright, I can't even look at you. Can't even see your face. So give me some examples in your life. What have you stopped, or what have you left for good? Maybe you left your country for good. Maybe you moved to a different country. You know, maybe you left Brazil and you went to live in Spain for good, right? Maybe that means permanently. You're never going back to Brazil. That'd be sad. I'm sure Brazil is a nice country. I've never been there, but I'd like to go sometime. Okay. So then you could say, I'm living in Spain now for good. You could either say, you could say it two ways. You could say, I've left Brazil for good, or you could say I'm living in Spain now for good. It means now you're there, and you're gonna start, you know, living there forever, right? So let me know some examples from your life. So with all this white stuff on the ground, I'm thinking of leaving Canada for good. I'm done with this winter. Although this winter, it's been really great because, you know, you can see I'm wearing a baseball cap. It's usually a lot colder than this. You know, right now it's probably around 0 degrees, I'm guessing. So, but yeah, usually it's like maybe -10, -20 this time of year. And we haven't really had super cold weather yet. It's probably gonna come soon, but so far so good. You can say that if something has been pretty good, you know, so far, you can say so far so good. Okay, so this winter, I mean, winter in Canada starts in like October, about, right? Sometimes earlier. So it's already been, you know, we've already had 3 months of winter basically, and it hasn't been very cold. So I could say so far so good. So far so good, but you know, we'll see what happens next month or for the rest of the winter. So what are you going to do for good? You know, some people get really upset with a certain brand. Let's say you have a certain brand of car, right? Like I know people, I've met people who've said to me, you know what, Mark, I'm done with Ford for good. I'm done. Now, I had a Ford Escape. I had a pretty good experience with Ford, actually. But a lot of people have told me, you know, Mark, I'm done with Ford for good. I'm never going to buy a Ford ever again in my life. Or maybe you had a phone, like a certain, like a company, maybe like Samsung, or, whoa, guys, look at this, cool. Doesn't that just look beautiful? The canal, fresh snow on the canal. Man, that looks amazing. It almost looks like water, doesn't it? But it's actually snow. So, if you've had a really bad experience with a certain brand of electronics, let's say Apple or Samsung or Google or one of these companies, you could say, I'm done with them for good. I'm done for good. You know, I'm gonna start using Apple for good. Okay, so you can say this in the positive sense, but it means that you're leaving something bad. And you know, yeah, like if you say from now on I'm gonna use Apple for good, or I'm gonna start using iPhones for good, it kind of means, it implies that you're leaving Android, let's say, and maybe you're leaving your Samsung phones, you know, forever. That's kind of what it implies. Or if you say I'm moving to Spain for good, it implies that you're leaving something that you didn't like, maybe. I'm being followed. So that's what that means, okay? If you say those just 2 words, short words, for good, right? Okay, so let's go down the canal here, and I'll think about a couple more examples, and then I'll bid you guys farewell. Okay, so have you ever like hated a certain product or a certain brand and you just stopped using them for good? I haven't. I'm not really brand loyal. You know, for me, I don't have any like loyalties to a certain like vehicle brand or electronics brand. I just follow what you know, whoever's doing the best, that's what I buy. So whatever company's making the best products, that's what I buy. So like I've been using iPhones for a while now, but if another company makes better phones, I'm gonna buy those phones. I'm not gonna just say, bye Apple, we're done. I'm done with you, Apple. You know, then, you know, I'll just leave Apple, maybe for good or maybe not for good. Maybe for 5 years. Maybe I'll switch from iPhone to Samsung phones for 5 years, and then maybe I'll realize, oh wait, you know what? Now Samsung's going down, now Apple's doing a bit better. I like their phones, they've got maybe certain features or a better camera or something, and then I'll go with that one, right? So I usually don't swear allegiance to a certain brand forever. I'm not a brand loyal person. If you're a person who always uses the same brand, then you are brand loyal. Okay, are you a brand loyal person? I'm not a brand loyal person, guys, at all. I just go wherever, whichever company treats me best. And the same here, you know, for countries. Like, whatever country treats you best, that's where you should live, right? If you get treated like garbage in a certain country, I mean, why would you want to live there, right? If a country's too cold for you, if it's got all this white stuff everywhere, you know, you might say, I'm leaving Canada for good. So guys, let me know your examples. Like I said, we usually use this in the negative sense. If you're leaving something, if you're stopping a bad habit for good, then it is for good. Then it actually makes sense, right? Like if you say, I'm going to stop smoking for good. Well, then it actually is for good, even though it's not what that means, right? It means I'm going to stop smoking permanently, but in fact, it is for the better. It is for good. So anyway, I just wanted to teach you guys that little phrase. So guys, as always, hope you're doing great. Hope you're staying safe, healthy, and happy. And as always, I love you so much. And I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.